Hey, this is Whole Health with Truly Writer. Again, Truly Jacob a Writer is my pen slash media name, so you probably won't see my face. So again, we're going to discuss briefly kind of what happened in Sabbath school. But hey, if you ever need to find a church where you can fellowship with other people, so at 10 o'clock, there is Sabbath school, which you read from the Bible and then discuss what you get out of the scripture for different ages, for adults and children and stuff like that. Then there's like songs that they sing in a worship service, and then someone gives a sermon. So it's up to you what to do. But if you're in the Rochester, Irondequoit, New York area on April 10 from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., there will be a dinner, and it could be something fun, something different for your family or you and your significant other to come and eat dinner in a different way. They are doing a fundraiser for their school. It is $9 per person, $25 for a family of free. So if that catches your interest, feel free to pop in. Again, like if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Bainol Seventh-day Adventist Church and talk to them if you need more questions. So, let's get started. So, we are studying Psalms for January, February, March, and 2024. So, lesson 13 was the topic was wait on the Lord, or how to wait on the Lord, or what does waiting on the Lord mean? And so there was like different things that they did. So in the beginning, Elder Bob, he commissioned people in the past Sabbath school. I must have missed that one, but he is like, write a psalm that speaks to you. And so in the beginning of the Sabbath school class, they all wrote a psalm, and then they switched papers and did it in an anonymous way where they're like, we don't know who wrote what. So okay. So they didn't know who wrote what, but like someone commented, it sounded like if there was a Bible, like that those Psalms could have been put into some kind of version of the Bible, and we wouldn't have even known like that person wrote that Psalm or whatever. So we're going to go over Psalm 131, and that was in this week's lesson. And then we're going to go over John 16, a certain section of that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to get into deeper meanings of scripture, we're going to get into that now. So we're going to compare two different versions of the Bible. So the Holy Bible, the Modern English Version. So Psalm 131. Lord, my heart is not haughty, my eyes are not raised too high. I have not striven for enormities, for things too wonderful for me. I composed and quieted my desire, like a child given suck by his mother. Like a child who sucks is my desire within me. Let Israel hope in the Lord from now and forever. So we were trying to understand the whole child illustration in the discussion of reading this verse together. And what came up was that a baby is weaned from their mother, and in the beginning, the mother does more things to like for the baby, because the baby can't do anything for itself. It can't feed itself, it can't clothe itself, it can't take care of itself, it can't walk, it can't do anything. And then gradually, as it grows up, the baby becomes more independent, and they're still dependent on their mother, but they become less and less dependent on their mother. And so we were connecting this as like an illustration to our the type of relationship we could have with God. And like in the beginning, when you're first beginning to develop a relationship with God, you may be super dependent upon God to be like, I need guidance to teach me what it means to know you and follow your principles and your word and everything. But as you grow up and you learn things, then you become less and less dependent upon God. So let's see if a different version, we can get something out of it. So Psalm 131, this is the Message Bible. Okay, a program song, it's entitled, God, I'm not trying to rule the roost. I don't want to be king of the mountain. I haven't meddled where I have no business or fantasized grandiose plans. I've kept my feet on the ground. I've cultivated a quiet heart, like a baby content in its mother's arms. My soul is a baby content. Wait, Israel, for God. Wait with hope. Hope now, hope always. So this is reading completely different. So let me read that again, because I don't think I'm comprehending. I've kept my feet on the ground. I've cultivated a quiet heart, like a baby content in mother's arms. My soul is a baby content. Interesting. So this is so this is kind of like saying something completely different. So it's like it's not talking about being weaned off of God at all in this one. It's saying like you're content in your mother's arms, and your soul can be content in God. But it's like we're only going to be content being in God's arms, or our soul being like God watching after our soul, and kind of holding our soul in his arms or whatever, or taking care of it or whatever. So that's completely different. So let's see. Okay, we went to John 16, around 33. So to get the whole context of the modern English version, I was reading from verses 25 through 33, because certain things came up in Sabbath school, and I was like, I don't think we're all getting the full context of what they were saying. So here is reading it without context. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace, and in the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So if you just take that out of context, it could be taught to you. You are going to go through this great tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. And it's like, well, what is the context? So, I have told you these things in Proverbs, but the time is coming when I will no longer speak to you in Proverbs. For I will speak to you plainly about the Father. On that day you will ask in my name. I am not saying to you that I shall ask the Father on your behalf, for the Father himself loves you because you have loved me, and have believed that I came from God. I came from the Father, and have come into the world. As I said, I am leaving the world, and I am going to the Father. His disciples said to him, Yes, now you are speaking plainly, and with no figure of speech. Now we know that you know everything and do not need anyone to question you. By this we believe that you came from God." Jesus answered them, "Do you now believe? Listen, the hour is coming, yes, it is now come, that you will be scattered, each to his own home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." Okay, so this is the second time reading this today. So if you look at it in a broad and vague terms, you'd be like, yeah, anyone who follows Jesus, you're going to have trials and tribulation. But for some reason, during the Sabbath school class, I was getting this thought that if you narrowed it down, like, okay, so yeah, he's going to leave the world someday. But for some reason, I thought when it talked about verses 31 through 33, it was more specific, like, okay, I'm about to enter my tribulation soon. You're going to all scatter me and leave me alone. You're going to want nothing to do with me. So, but you're still going to go through tribulation. But even though, like, you're leaving me alone, be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Know that I have overcome the world, or something like that. That's kind of the context I was getting. But I could be wrong. I could be reading it too much, trying to understand the minute details. Anyways. But, because some people, lately in my life, they're like, Jesus said it, that we're gonna go through tribulation and we're gonna go through suffering. And I'm like, where in the Bible does it say that my whole life experience is gonna be nothing but tribulation and suffering? Because there's other passages of the Bible that say that once you go through your tribulation and suffering, that it ends, you get blessings. So I was trying to look at it from that perspective. And so it's like, if you look at the whole big picture, and if you look at other things of passages of what say in other passages of scripture, to me, it made more logical, reasonable sense, or even common sense, that Jesus was actually referring to his time of trouble. And he was saying, during my time of trouble, you are also going to go through tribulation too. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Because it was going to, like, discourage them so greatly. So he was trying to give them hope and sow seeds of hope in them so they could get through this tribulation. So, I don't know. Tribulation, to me, is supposed to be a period of time, not your whole entire life. It's just supposed to be a period of time, and then it passes. You overcome, and you're closer to God. And So, read Job, and there's different versions of Job too. So, let's see. John 16 in the Message Bible. $25. So, okay, 25. I've used figures of speech in telling you these things. Soon I'll drop the figures and tell you about the Father in plain language. Then you can make your request directly to him in relation to this life I've revealed to you. I won't continue making requests of the Father on your behalf. I won't need to, because you've gone out on a limb, committed yourselves to love and trust in me, believing I came directly from the Father, and the Father loves you directly. First I left the Father and arrived in the world. Now I leave the world and travel to the Father. His disciples said, "Finally, you're giving it to us straight in plain talk. No more figures of speech. Now we know that you know everything. It all comes together, and you won't have to put up with our questions anymore. We were convinced you came from God." Jesus answered them, "Do you finally believe? In fact, you're about to make a run for it, saving your own skins and abandoning me. But I'm not abandoned. The Father is with me. I've told you all this so that, trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties, but take heart, I've conquered the world." So I like this version better because this one kind of does imply that there could be potentially, tough times. You'll experience difficulties, but difficulties and tribulation are two different categories. Two different categories. Like, difficulties are like, you will have to do different things in this life, and at times it will be difficult. So life is not going to be easy. Life is not going to be simple and pleasant 100% all the time. But that's not a tribulation, okay? So a tribulation is like you're experiencing some kind of level of extreme pain. Like, who can handle that for a whole life experience? That seems like unreasonable. So depending on what version of the Bible that you have, you could get a Bible where the context it says tribulation. You're going to go through tribulation. And it's going to be this way until the second coming of Christ. But if you read another version, it's like you're going to experience difficulties. I'm sorry, I'm going to take experiencing difficulties until the second coming of Christ versus experience tribulation every single day. Because tribulation, to me, refers more to a severe pain level. I'm not okay experience severe pain on different. So there could be severe spiritual pain, severe emotional pain, severe mental pain, severe physical pain, severe losing different aspects of your senses that we have. That is a hardcore tribulation, who wants to experience tribulation forever? So the whole point to me of going through the tribulation is you learn your lesson, you overcome, and then you come back to, let's just experience difficulties. There's going to be difficulties in this world because there is sin, there is wickedness, but tribulation for your whole life until the second coming, it seems kind of too overwhelming. I don't know. What do you think? Do you experience difficulties where there's challenges in life and everything's not easy and hunky-dory? Or do you experience tribulation in your life every single day where you're in some kind of severe pain and you never get a break? Because with experiencing difficulties, you can have a break from difficulties. With tribulation, you don't ever get a break. I mean, at least that's my understanding of things. Again, I could be wrong. What is your perspective? Feel free to put that in the comment section. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned until next time.